Hey everyone, welcome to my show. Be sure to hit like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch for all my exclusive content. Hello again, Fleet Commanders. Tiberius here. Wanted to do a quick video for you. Dive in a little bit deeper, sort of a follow-up to these new daily events that we're getting. I know I had a lot of sticker shock when I first saw them. A lot of thoughts that these events are not sustainable. You know, when they're asking us to do things like spend Armada directives and Fleet Commander skill points and, ship upgrades like in the middle of a week. Like, how are we going to do that consistently? And I'm here to give you a little bit of help and insight into that. And I've kind of changed my way of thinking. And I think once a lot of other players do that too, you're going to be a lot happier. For 4+ years, we've had it drilled into our heads about these 6-hour and 12-hour daily events. This is what you do. You log in every day and you do these daily events, and that's how you get your tiny little bits of resources, because you need these small little bits and pieces to cumulatively add up so you get enough to actually do some upgrades once in a while. And now they overhauled them and they replaced them with these new, bigger events that require much more significant, material investments. Investing G3 through G6 ship parts for an SLB, or investing research materials, spending actual raw materials in the middle of a week. I'm recording this video on a Friday. There's currently no officer event going on right now. Do I really want to spend these materials during a week? Probably not. But the beauty of this event and the new structure that we have is I don't have to. It's okay if I don't do this event. Not just because, I say so or I decide to do it or whatnot, but because I don't actually, materially wise, need to. With this new structure, the payouts on these events are so much higher that on a 4-day calendar, this event's going to run 7 times this month. I don't need to finish it 7 times this month. I only need to finish it twice. And I'll actually get way more materials than I would have under the old structure. If I had done research and building upgrades under the old events, which we can go back and look at right here because I pulled some of them up. So this is, sorry about that. So this is right here. Limited time officer event, spending some officer XP. Okay, I would have gotten, 76 billion and 48 rare. Well, double that. 150 billion, we'll call it 160 billion, and 48 rare materials. Here's the station upgrade one. Well, this one wasn't even paying rare. This one was paying about $1 billion in dilithium, in case you're newer to the channel. If you, typically for most events, if you add up what you get in milestones 1, 2, and 3, it usually is close to, if not equal to, what you get in milestone 4. So to save yourself a little trouble, just look at milestone 4 and just kind of double it, and you're at least in the right ballpark and vicinity of how many materials you should be getting from an event. In this case, it actually does add up pretty perfectly. 30, 61, 61. Yeah, this one works out just fine. Not all the events do. There's usually a little bit of variance in some of them, but, officer XP, upgrading ships, spending ship parts, would have got me a little bit of materials there. Here's the officer one that we used to have to spend some officer XP, officer recruit tokens, and I would have gotten 5.25 billion titanium and, not even any rare materials, 64 uncommon. Now, I know obviously this is an easier thing to complete, but even if I did it 4 or 5 times a month, because the old 6-hour, 12-hour schedule, I probably would have how it worked around on the 11-day calendar. This event, even though it was an 11-day calendar, an 11-day cycle, there were only 4 or 5 different events. They just sort of changed the format, or some of them are an SLB, some of them have the heroic in front of them. So instead of spending 1,800, I spend 6,000 or 6,500, I think was the actual number. Recruit tokens. Whereas now, 53 billion, double it. I'm getting over 100 billion plus tokens. There's another 100 billion, so I'm getting 200 billion from this event. I'm getting over 300 rare and over, 1,200 uncommon. It's a lot more materials that I'm getting. I don't have to do this event more than once or twice to still come out ahead versus what I would have gotten under the old system. And that was sort of a big realization to me once I kind of dug into the numbers a little bit more. And it made me feel a little better about this new structure because, again, I was like everybody else and just like, this is ridiculous. Like, how am I going to do these events every day? You don't have to. This event right now, like I said, is running here on a Friday. If I don't want to spend these materials, well, it'll run again on Tuesday, and then it'll run again the following Saturday because it's only a 4-day calendar now. I can wait till next Saturday when there is an officer event going on to spend these materials and do an event like this. And I'll get these extra, way more mats and resources than I would previously. And if I look at an event like this, upgrading ship parts and things like that, maybe I don't want to do this one right now either. I'll wait till it lines up and till this one comes back next weekend. And I'll do a ship upgrade or two and spend some ship parts and pick up some Syndicate XP for my trouble. Or I come over here to one of these other events. Oh, now my mouse is being funny. Like the one we had here, the Fleet Commander one, that's giving out Galactic Recruit tokens. We lost Ultra Recruits. That's something we need to get back. We also lost Latinum and Speed Ups because none of those rewards so far seem to exist in any of the events. That's very, very important, especially for newer players to the game, because that's their only sourcing for officers is through those Ultra Recruits early on, and they don't get a lot of speed ups and things like that from missions because the missions are woefully out of date. So relying on some of the Latinum from events also helps them tremendously in accelerating their early game growth. That's something that needs to come back, and hopefully we can work on that and get that fixed and get sourcing for those materials back in here. But even an event like spending artifact tokens, if you're a higher level player, this is even if, again, you only do this event twice a month. You stock up, you do your Silent Hostiles to get your Temporal Disruptors from that refinery, you do your Ex-Borg pulls to get some of these artifact tokens, and I knock this out, and I get 20 billion in dilithium plus another 20 billion in tokens, and I get 180 approximately rare gas out of this one. It's way more than I was getting from those old events, and if I happen to do it twice a month, now I've got 360. I'm way ahead of what I was previously getting. And I think that once we sort of get ourselves out of that mindset that, these are daily events, I have to do them every day. You don't. It's okay. You only have to do them like twice a month. They're actually giving us time back. One of the things we complained about was we didn't want to spend as much time playing the game. They're giving us some of that time back. I don't have to log in every 6 hours or 12 and do some of these events every single day. I can be like, oh, hey, I'm not doing these events because it's a Tuesday. I'll wait till they're come up again in 4 days on a Saturday and just skip these. Maybe knock out one or two of the other regular events, something else I want to do, or just throw up, make sure my shield is good and just be like, I'll come back tomorrow and see what else is going on instead. And I know people are thinking, okay, well, it's the only reason we want to do all these events, or the big reason we want to do all these events, is because of this ahead of the curve SMS event. But this is one of the most accurately named events we've had in a while, because it literally is designed for players who are ahead of the curve. And those would be your spenders who are in that A+ category, that top 10% threshold. Those are the players who are going to finish most of these events on a regular basis every month. And they're going to get to the top milestones, and they're going to get this free officer unlock. That's the reward for this. But what we do know is that this currency carries over from month to month. So if you hit any of these milestones, you'll pick up a little bit of it. Think of it like de-sealing rods for a free treasury. You're doing your events, you're picking up a little bit here and there. You need 6,000 to unlock one of the officer pulls. You get 6,000 from the event. 6,000 also, coincidentally, is the cap. You can't hold more than 6,000. I don't know why they put the... I'm just going to claim this because I'll forget about it and it's going to bother me. I don't know why they put a double cap on this. because they put a limit of 6,000 tokens on it, and they also put a 28-day cooldown on the chest. So if you take, you wouldn't need to have both. And I think hopefully we can get this increased so you can have at least a little bit of room for overlap if you happen to not like the officers, because they've mentioned that they're only going to rotate these officers quarterly. So right now we're starting here with the Picard officers and the next NX-01 crew. If you don't like any of this group and don't really want these officers or have them all maxed already, it shouldn't hold you back permanently or too much if you want to wait until February or March until this group rotates. So hopefully we can get them to raise the cap at least somewhat. Maybe get you to 9,000 so you can have 1.5, get a head start on the next one, because you still can't pull more than one a month. But that's what we should think of this as. Think of this like your free treasury. You're going to get bits and pieces of it for free. You're going to do the events that you want to do, that line up and make sense to do when it's convenient for you to actually complete them. And it will get you, if I can ever scroll over far enough to actually find it. Come on, a little bit further. Mouse is being super weird today. There we go. You might get 3,000, you might get 6,000. Get your 1,500. Maybe the month you cash in your free treasury and you have that surplus of resources or shipment, ship parts or whatever, whichever treasury you happen to pick, will be enough to get you to that third milestone. And then you got 1,500 one month, 1,500 the second month, giving you 3,000. And then the third month you cash in your treasury, and now you get 3,000 from this. So now you've got 6,000 total, and now you go get your free officer too. And that's it. It's a quarterly reward, much like your treasury is a quarterly reward. And all you're doing is sort of picking and choosing when you want to do these 12-hour events that lines up best for you. So once I came to that realization last night as we were talking through this on the Twitch stream, I started to feel a little better about this new structure. And it started to be like, you know what? It's okay. I can pump the brakes. I can just leave some of those events alone. It's fine. It's fine if I don't do them. I know a lot of players have that FOMO. And there will be players who do spend so they can do. They will buy Armada directives. They will buy ship part packs and things like that, or cash in multiphasics from other packs they've bought to get material so they can keep doing it because they want to stay ahead of the curve. That's fine. I'll stay right in the middle of the bell curve with everybody else, and we'll just pick up little bits and pieces here and there along the way. So hopefully this helps a little bit, kind of lower the anxiety levels, lower the tension and hostility. Again, obviously we do still need some adjustments to these events, like this March of Progress event that they gave, the Gain Power one. These numbers are way, way inflated. Like I did the math on this one last night, and I'd have to gain like 140 million power from between buildings and research or something like that. I don't know how they think I'm accomplishing that, gaining 140 billion power when the average building gives me about 10,000, which times 40 is, 400,000 points. That's not a lot. And the average research, even if it's a new research or something like a mirror research that says it gives me like 50 or 60K at a 15x multiplier, that's still nowhere near amount. Like how in a course of a month am I going to gain 140 million power to finish this? So hopefully they revisit these numbers and kind of scale things back. Also, I don't know why they lumped in the level 50 players with the level 51. My Ops 50 account, which is the G4 Epic, is getting G5 ship parts if I finish this event. I don't want a head start on the next thing. I want the thing for where I am now. So can we put 50 in with 48s and 49s and then start a new bracket for like 51 and up? That would be another thing we need to get adjusted. And hopefully they will continue to revisit some of these numbers and make some tweaks and adjustments going forward. But I think the overall concept is sound. And that's what I wanted to point out here. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Obviously, I know people are upset, and I expect people to voice their concerns and disapproval of this events. I think they did a poor job explaining it, as usual, and they could have done a lot better being more transparent about, like, hey, here's why we're changing this structure and here's why it's so drastically different, but look at the benefits of it and not relying on people like myself to actually dig in and then share that information with the community. It's like, do your job. But anywho, have a great day, and I'll see you around the galaxy.